Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Here's the thing, if you don't like what you're doing, why should anybody else? You know who should be the very, very first person that is always hitting the like button on your posts? Should be you. You should be the very first heart on every post that you do. You should comment on your stuff. You should be the one telling you how incredible, how amazing, how outstanding you are. Because if you don't believe in you, who else is going to? How would you expect your clients to believe that you can get them a breakthrough if you don't really believe that you can get a breakthrough for yourself or for them? Think about that for a minute. Now, you may be asking, for those of you who don't know me, well, who are you and how do you know? Well, I'd like to introduce myself for those of you, again, who don't know. My name is Steve King. I'm a third generation minister, international best-selling author of 41 books and counting. Over the course of the last 40 years in business, I've had the incredibly amazing privilege of working with over 5,000 authors, helping them write, publish, market their books to bestseller, and everything that goes beyond that. Because bestseller is only the beginning. It is your day one launch strategy. It is the thing that gets you started, but it is not the end place. It's not even the kind of middle place. It is the absolute beginning of what you need to do in this world. Um, and whether you're a person working a job or you're as I call it in my on my show, a thriving entrepreneur, either way, you absolutely need to be your cheerleader. You need to know that what you do, who you are, how you do it, all of those kind of things, they're so, so important. The world absolutely needs it. But unfortunately, myself included, we tend all too often, oh, sadly, but all too true, we tend to buy into the story that's telling us that we're not good enough, that, maybe nobody's listening. We look in the top left hand corner, for example, while I'm on live here, and we see how many people are listening live, and we say to ourselves, oh, well, that's my worth and my value, whatever that number is. And unfortunately, there are a lot of quote unquote gurus out there that have convinced us that our value is only in as much as we can go viral. We can do something that has massive reach, worldwide impact, has millions upon millions following it. And anything less than that, you're just not worth it. And that's totally true. If you did something today, usually the more specific kind of because again I work with so think about statistically speaking just employee problems right in or something like that brings up it sells millions of tens of millions of copies. Millions of copies. Bring the people who sold the stuff. One of their one or things like that. So the worldwide average is less than 40. Maybe also that you see it's fine. And it's really good if you can have this to have that many in there. Even when you're very first thing. You can do less than that. You can still get it up and the next year. You can sell it. But let's say that you look on the back. We all get it. You're not seeing what you're not seeing daily sales. You're not seeing it's none of those things. We judge ourselves. We're harsh with ourselves and say not so kind things to ourselves because we want that metric of being the evaluation of the world. But I want you to stop and think for a second. I want you to imagine any one person in your life. Let's even say that one person is you. Okay? So no actual people actually. And let's say in this situation, for whatever reason, they have a virus. And because you're totally disgusted, you're angry because nobody else. And you put people in your life, right? They're rarely going to throw away. It's one of the best things about this. You'll throw away business cards. You'll throw away coupons and all those kind of things. But when you're typical, you're guilty. So you don't encourage you give them away. Those kind of things. So again, you're like you're willing to never brought ever out. You're going to make people feel. When somebody comes in, you never got you're not treat that. And when they just simply speak up all the things and agree with it, and didn't agree with things, even that doesn't matter. They speak up, and let's say this was 10 years after me, and that book, along with 10 others, goes in the stack and goes home for free with these people. Okay? Now let's say that the person here got paying for Egypt. Okay? I'm going to give you a little verse. And at the time, he ended up with things that were, oh, I know, let's say 15 years ago. And at the time, of course, 15 years ago. But then, they come home and they're going through some stuff. And you see, hey, this is interesting. Would you mind if I read it? You know, you had it. Pretty well. And so, of course, you don't they're like 25, and they're just like picking them together. Maybe when you get something up. Now, again, we go to worst case scenario. Some of them teach you drills down deep in it becomes part of the repertoire. Begin to quote is actually your words, your quote from your book. But, you know, somewhere in the back of their head, they kind of remember that book and they've kept it for whatever reason. And then a few years later, they have a child of their own. And so now this person who was 15 when they got your book, who was, 5 or 10 when you wrote your book, they're now in their 40s. Let's say they're 45. So let's say that, it's 35 years now after your book was written. We're just saying, I'm giving you round numbers. Okay, well, in fact, let's say they're 45. So they were 40 years since your book was written, 40 years ago. This old, hardly ever opened, so in relatively good condition book, they remember and they recommend to their child who's just now going off to college. When I was just about your age, maybe a little older, this book really, really did something for my life. And I had really forgotten how impactful it was for me. But I hope that maybe as you go to college, maybe this book will help you with your life like it's helped me with mine. Okay, so 40 years have gone by, and now you and 2 other generations on to now the 3rd generation of people, that one book. Now, let's say this person reads it, and it really massively impacts their life. This book becomes the thing that is the difference. It changes the very trajectory of that person's life. And how they show up in the world is different because of the words you said 40 years ago in that book. You need to understand that would have been more than enough. That impact of that one life, that's what makes a difference. And it doesn't matter whether it happens on day one. We've had that happen. Or if it happens 40 years later, I've seen that happen too. There are lots of books that are rediscovered many of the times, even, a century after they were written. And they revitalize and become more popular now than they were then. It may even be that a whole movement grows out of what you wrote 40 years ago, or it may just be one life that it changes. The sharing of you is what made the impact. And that starts by making the impact of a person that looks you back in the mirror. That bright, smiley face that is yours. And I made it. And then I made it. And I made it too. And I made it between the quote unquote metal block. Long story. For the longest time,